Hey girl, hey! Welcome back to my channel and to another video. I feel like last time I did a Q&A with my sister, you guys really got to know a little bit of what's been on my mind lately. And even though times are really tough right now, I wanted to sit down and actually have like a one-on-one Q&A with you guys, because I have been transparent throughout my whole life with you guys, and especially through this process that I'm currently going through. I wanted to know what questions you guys had, and I wanted to answer them as honestly as I could from the bottom of my heart. We're gonna be doing that, and the first question you guys asked was, where are your dogs? Which is perfect since they haven't had breakfast, so we're gonna go ahead and feed them right now with the sponsor of today's video, that is Farmer's Dog. So I recently switched over to Farmer's Dog because the scoop game is a mess, and I was having to switch between brands to try and find whatever kibble I can find that was proper for Cena and Leo, since they're such different dogs. But with Farmer's Dog, all I had to do was type their information, their weight, and their age on their website, and they gave me the perfect mix for both Cena and Leo. You could even see the difference in color for each one of them. So for Cena, she's getting the turkey recipe, and for Leo, he has chicken and grain recipe. The dog meals are cooked in human food facilities with the same standard that you would expect for your food. Each recipe is formulated by a board certified vet to be complete and balanced. It honestly looks and smells like real food because it is real food. The dogs absolutely love it, and they literally eat it up every single time. Nothing left when I pick up their plate. Ever since I made the switch for them, I've noticed an improvement in their digestion, their energy, and it has helped me keep them at a steady, healthy weight. Results may vary with every dog, but it just feels so good to know that I know exactly what's going into their bowl and into their bodies. So here it is. This is Cena's food. This is Leo. And if you're also a pet parent and you want to start feeding your dogs fresh food, you can check out Farmer's Dog by clicking the QR code right here or clicking the link in my description to get 50% off your first box. Freshly made, healthy dog food that your puppies are gonna love. Plus, you also get free shipping and 24/7 customer support. So with that, let's go give them their breakfast. Cena. Leo currently has a cone on his head, so I have to hold his plate. Cena is going in on her food. And just like that, all done. Let's continue with the rest of the video and the rest of your questions. Let me have a little bit of my drinky drink to get the nerves off. I'm drinking a cute little green tea with no sweetener, like I showed you guys in the last video. Something refreshing, something to take the edge off, because I'm so nervous about making this video. But with that being said, please, I'm asking you guys and I'm begging you, do not send hate to anyone that I mentioned in this video, that I talk about in this video. Please don't send hate to anyone, please. Not in my name, not in anyone's name. The best thing you can do is pray for us and continue to show grace. So with that being said, Holy Spirit, please speak through me and let's get this video going. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the lighter questions first, because I feel like the ones that are most liked are the hardest for me to answer. So let me just go randomly, girl. There's a lot. So this question says, are you going to move houses so that you can have a fresh start? And the answer is no. I absolutely love my house. I love my home. I feel like I'm very comfortable. I'm comfortable with the house payment. I'm very comfortable with the interest rate. That house, I got it in 2022. So at the time, I ended up getting a 3% interest rate, guys, which is unheard of nowadays. I feel like right now, the lowest interest rate that I've seen is 6.5. So I would not let my house go for no reason at all, especially with so much change and chaos going on in my life, in me and the boys' life. The last thing I want to do is move them further if I don't have to. I understand when other people go through separations, they feel the need to do that, and in some cases it is needed when you're going through a separation or divorce, but for myself it's not needed. So we're definitely going to be staying at the house. Do you think that being a strong, independent woman ended up being a problem in your marriage? I don't know. Honestly, I don't have an answer for that, because I would like to think that as much as I was a strong, independent woman, I also tried to be soft, loving, kind, encouraging, graceful, and I've been this way my whole life. As you guys know my story, I grew up without my dad, and when my dad and my mom divorced, I had to fend for myself for the rest of my life. So this happened when I was 13, and I'm 31 now. 31. Oila, ojalá. No, I'm 34 now. So that's what, 21 years that I've been like this, right? And so I have never had a man come into my life and try to take care of me. I have never had a man come into my life and tell me, I'm gonna pay all your bills. You don't have to work. All you have to do is relax and look beautiful. I've never had that before. So I don't know any other way other than to be a strong, independent woman. And I don't want to be this way. If there's any men out there who are like, I will take care of you and your children, and I will love you for the rest of my life, and I will respect you, and I will look out for you guys, I'm not opposed to it at all. I don't wear this strong, independent badge as a badge of honor. I do it because I have to, and I have no other option. But I don't know if it was the downfall of my marriage, but I had no other option but to be that. Would you ever consider doing therapy to co-parent with your ex-husband? Yes, 100% yes. So I love therapy. I have been in therapy for a long time. I stopped for a little bit when she was little. As soon as this started happening, I got back into therapy because I knew that what was coming, even though I didn't have all the answers yet, was going to be traumatizing. I knew that it was going to be a lot, and I knew that I had to be my best self, not only for myself, but for my children. So as soon as I realized that things were going to be happening and it was going to start changing, I got into therapy. And especially now that my relationship with my ex-husband is over, it's interesting to see that our relationship hasn't ended. It'll never end. It just has now gone from husband and wife to co-parents. And thankfully, I would like to say that we have a pretty healthy co-parenting relationship. We communicate very well when it comes about the kids. We have open communication. It's very much like, hey, SJ is this, or baby Daniel is that, or whatever. And when he's with the kids, he sends me pictures. When I'm with the kids, we call him all the time. Thankfully, we're really good in that sense. And that was always my goal. Once I realized my marriage wasn't going to make it, and I realized that him and I were no longer going to be together, I went to myself, I'm hurting as a woman, but as a mom, I want to put my best foot forward, and I want to try my best to have the best relationship I can with this man, so that my kids can have a healthy relationship with him, and that they don't feel like they have to choose between me and their dad. Because I remember feeling that when my parents were going through their divorce, and even after that, my parents never really got along until the end. So I hated the fact that my parents didn't get along, because it was hard for me to be in the same room as them. It was painful to know that the two people you love the most hated each other, and it felt always heartbreaking to have to pick between both of them. So if it ever came down to co-parenting therapy, I would 100% be open to it. I will do anything that it takes to make sure my kids have as much of a smooth transition as they can through this really rough patch. So yes, I would 100,000% do therapy for co-parenting. How are the boys doing? So you guys know I don't really talk about my sons online, and I don't disclose their health issues or emotional anything. I don't really talk about my kids, but I will tell you guys, they are happier than I thought they would be. In the beginning, it was very difficult for SJ specifically, because SJ was always with his dad. He loved being with his dad, and in the beginning, he was very thrown off because he was kind of like, where's my dad? Why isn't my dad sleeping here? Why isn't my dad spending as much time here? But I think now that we're a couple of weeks out and we're getting used to the pattern and stuff, he's doing a lot better. He sees his dad almost every day during the week, so he still spends a lot of time with Denny, and he understands now. At the end, he'll be like, oh, where are you going? He'll ask Denny, where are you going? And then he'll be like, oh, I'm going to my house. And he's like, oh, going to your house with your friends? And he's like, yeah. So we still try to do things together for them every once in a while. We still are super cordial in front of him, so he knows that things are different, but he knows things are okay. And we have made it a point to make sure that's the case. Baby Daniel is thankfully small enough to where he never really got the opportunity to experience what SJ did, so he doesn't know any other life other than this, and it does make me sad to know that this is his life. But I know him and Denny are gonna thrive and have an amazing relationship. Once I stop breastfeeding and he's able to take the baby for long periods of time, I think, or for the day, I think he's gonna get more used to that, and every time he sees Denny, his eyes light up and he gets super happy. So I feel like there's not really anything different because the baby was already spending a lot of time with me since I breastfeed. But thankfully they're okay, and I keep praying that they only continue to thrive in this situation, but they're doing better than I thought. Oh, this question. Other than God and your childhood experience with divorce, what other key factors have helped you transition to single motherhood so gracefully? Honestly, I think it's God, you guys. It really is God, because I think this person asking that, you're right. It's God and the fact that my parents went through divorce and I knew exactly what I didn't want my children experiencing. So I don't know if you guys are going through divorce. Part of me feels like I never really believed in love to begin with. And when I did get married and I took a chance on it, I was like, it was kind of like a gamble. And I was like, you know, when you don't really believe things are going to happen and it's not going to pull through, but you have all your chips in the basket, all your eggs in that basket. That's kind of how I was. I was like, I don't believe that love is forever. I don't believe that anyone can really be together forever for the rest of their lives, but I'm going to get married and I'm going to give it my best chance. And I'm going to hope and pray that this works out. So I got married in a very pessimistic way, thinking eventually something's going to happen. And I don't know if I'm just traumatized because my parents got divorced when I was so young. So to me, when it did happen, I was kind of like, it was only a matter of time before it happened. So it's still very hard. Obviously, I don't film myself when I'm crying a lot. You guys have seen me cry, but I don't show you guys every time I'm crying. I don't show you guys every time I'm having a hard moment. I don't show you guys the hardships that come with divorce. The reason for that is because I'm still processing it myself, girls. It is so difficult, and sometimes I'm so numb and I'm so confused and I'm just so like, what is going on? How is this my life? The other day I was sitting there and I was thinking, how is it that just less than 3 months ago I thought I was in a happy marriage and now I'm here? What? It's so crazy. So I don't know. I think if you guys are currently going through divorce or separation, my number one answer is talk to God. Give it to God, and you have to believe that eventually this is going to lead to something good. And that's kind of what I hold on to. It's still very hard. It's still very difficult. But at the end of the day, God is there for me, and God listens to me, and God has seen everything that I didn't see, and God has my back, and I know God is taking care of me and my children. And something that helps me is to know that God is not only going to act as the provider in my home, as the protector of my home, as a father to me. God is also going to act as a father to my kids, and that gives me a lot of peace, and it gives me a lot of, I don't know, just fulfillment. It's really difficult because a lot of people have been telling me how I have been so graceful through this transition. I don't feel like that. I feel like my life is falling apart, but the last thing I want to do is hurt the other party. For me, hurting my ex-husband doesn't make things better. Hurting my ex-husband doesn't make me happy. Hurting my ex-husband doesn't fulfill me in any way. So instead of focusing on putting all that energy and trying to hurt him and see, or trying to make him see how hurt I am, I'm trying to make myself better. How can I just 1000% come out better out of this? How can I level up my life? How can I level up my life physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually? How can I get so close to God that I don't even care that this is happening? Because at the end of the day, my happiness doesn't lie in my ex-husband. My happiness lies in the Lord and in taking care of my children. Point blank, period. So I think just knowing that is what kind of helped. And if there's anybody out there that's going through this tough transition, I would say know that getting your ex back isn't going to make you happier. The only thing that's going to make you happier is fulfilling yourself and making yourself, children, happy and getting back to God. So yeah. Oh, how hard is it for you to co-parent and see your ex-husband despite all the hurt you're feeling? I think that's definitely one of the hardest things that comes with co-parenting. And I talked about it in a previous vlog, but basically when I see Jenny, I see him and I want to hug him. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I want to hug him and I want to like, okay, you just want to feel like everything's done, you know, like want us to be okay. But the person I see right now is not my husband. You don't know if this is like a weird thing to say, but I feel like who Denny is right now is not the man I married. And so even though he looks like Denny and he's still very loving and kind to me and to the boys, he's not my husband. Yeah. So I kind of like, I'm mourning the death of somebody who's still alive, because he's still present here physically. Like, he's still Denny. Like, he's still Denny. He's still funny. He's still loving. He's still caring for the boys. Like, still helpful around the house. Like, if I ask him to do anything for me, he'll do it. But who he was as my husband, and the man that loved me, and the man that would do anything for me, and the man that was there for me, and the man that carried me through a lot of hard times, is not who he is right now. So there are several times where like be there with the kids and like just see them and I just like crying and like step away to the room, and I'll step, like I try to kind of let them hang out by themselves, because it's the hardest when I see Danny with the kids, because that's what he looks most like my husband, but he's not my husband anymore. You don't even mean legally, but like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but like I just feel spiritually like my husband's not there right now. And who he is right now as a person, I don't miss. Like, I miss who I was married to. You know, that's definitely one of the hardest parts. You know, I see him being like a good dad, and I see him being so loving to the boys. That's when it's hard for me to be around him. In the future, would you consider having more children with another relationship? Okay, so I don't want to say me. No, I don't want more kids. I'm happy with my children. I'm happy with I'm happy with the boys. Like, and postpartum was very difficult, and I really do think that pregnancy and postpartum like take a toll on your relationship, because at least it did in mine. I don't know if there's anyone out there who just has an amazing time when they're postpartum with their partner. I didn't. You really do think that this really tough season, I don't want to, like, it wasn't my kid's fault at all whatsoever, but when I was going into pregnancy and postpartum, I knew the toll it would take on me, and unfortunately I don't think our marriage made it out of that, right? So when I get married again, I would love to date somebody who already has kids. The reason being is I don't want to go through pregnancy and postpartum again, girls. I really don't. Like, it was so hard on me and so hard on my marriage, and I'm still postpartum. Like, when this all started, it was a couple months ago, so I was even further back postpartum, and it's not something I want to do again. Like, I'm traumatized. I am. Like, I didn't like being pregnant, and then second of all, going through this while being postpartum has been very traumatizing. So next time I find love and next time I find my husband, like, I don't want to put our relationship, I don't want to put my next marriage through that again. Like, children together is a beautiful thing, but I don't think I want to do it again. Like, happy with my boys, and I know I always wanted a girl, but maybe whoever I marry will have a daughter, and I can be an amazing stepmom for her, because to me it doesn't make a difference if I birth my baby or not. Like, capable of loving all children, even if that means they're my stepdaughter or my stepson. You know, I don't want to have any more children. If I end up marrying somebody that doesn't have children, I know I don't want that, because I don't want to go through it again. So I think one of the requirements for me, at least for the next person I date or marry, it would definitely have to be somebody who's done having kids, so that we can like have in common. You know, that's what I say now. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but for now I think I'm pretty set on that. Would you and your ex-husband consider marriage counseling through the church, speaking to the pastor to guide you through this hardship? So in my video, I talked about how I offered everything I knew how to offer, and when we started having problems, I did offer counseling, professional counseling, in with our pastor, and unfortunately that's not something that we were able to do. So yeah, I was open to it, and in my future marriage and my next marriage, I would be open to that, because I love therapy. I think it helps. I think it makes a difference, and if there's anybody out there who is going through like hardships, I highly encourage you guys to seek therapy, to seek family counseling, to talk to your pastors, because I really do believe that the majority of issues in a marriage could be solved with the right communication. But unfortunately, that's not something we were able to do, so it's not something that helped us. Did the separation come out of left field, or what were the signs, behaviors that led to it? So I would like to think I'm a pretty intuitive person, and I notice changes really fast. So as soon as this all started happening, even before obviously I knew what was happening, I could tell something was off. And you know, of course you're told no, everything's fine, but no, I could tell pretty early on what was happening. And thankfully I decided to step out of the relationship really early on. And I truly do believe that that's one of the reasons why I'm very hurt and I'm very like in pain, but that's one of the reasons why I feel sort of okay. And the reason for that is because I listened to myself. And as soon as I saw the changes started happening in my marriage, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm no longer being loved, respected, and wanted the way that I was. So I'm gonna leave this relationship. And I did. Conversation, like, the separation didn't happen. By the time I'm filming this video, we didn't actually separate until I would say the end of June. But I think I could tell really early on that something was happening, and I could tell really early on that this person no longer wanted to put in the work to be in a marriage with me. And to me, I was like, well, I'm not going to be in a marriage where I'm not pursued, I'm not loved, I'm not sought after. So I decided to leave the relationship. But no, I feel like as women, we're able to tell really early, but a lot of times we gaslight ourselves and we're like, oh no, like I just have to fight harder and I have to love harder and I have to just do this and I have to do that. But the truth of the matter is, like, you can make a relationship work unless both people are willing to work in it. Okay, I have about 2 more questions. So I'm gonna do these last 2, which is the ones with the most likes. So, do you still want your marriage to work out, or are you done for good? I first talked about it here online. I said that I was open to it working out or something like that, and I was, but I no longer am. And with that, I'll say I actually filed for divorce, and the divorce is in progress. In California, there's a law that you have to wait 6 months before your divorce is finalized. So we're currently in the waiting period. The divorce papers have been signed, and I think my marriage as it was is not something that I ever wanted to go back to, because I don't want to be in a marriage where things were the way they were. I think if I ever was even considering getting back with my ex-husband, he would have to make a lot of life changes, because not because there's anything wrong with him, but because the man that I want is not who he is right now. And so I'm done for good. And the only way that I would ever consider being in a relationship with this person again, even though I love him with my whole heart, is not something that I think he would do. You can talk about what I want in a man in some other video if you guys want to talk about that. But yeah, I'm done for good. The divorce is in motion and it should be finalized in a couple of months. But yeah, done for good. And the last question, how do you feel about your ex-husband's stories? Also about him starting a YouTube channel to speak on the side of the story. And I do quotations because this person put it in quotes. I don't feel any sort of way. I just ask for grace, peace, and love for me, for the boys, and even for Danny, because I really do feel like he needs prayers, he needs love, and he needs help. That's gonna be it for this video. I feel like I got a lot out, but you know, if you guys have any more questions, and let me know what else you guys want to see from me. But that's gonna be it for me. Les quiero mucho, mucho, mucho. Dios me les bendiga. Quiérete mucho, respétate más, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.